Welcome to the Be That Healing Girl podcast. And on this episode today, we're going to talk about the reason you spiral even after the best weekend together. So this is going to be a great episode for you if, I don't know, it's like a long holiday weekend and you're having a great weekend, right? All things taken into account. You're doing fun things are good when you're together. And then starting around Sunday, Monday morning, you start to feel this huge hole or this anxiety, and it starts to kind of build up, and sometimes it builds up to a fight or a disagreement, and then the week starts, your regular work week, and it just gets deeper and worse, and they're a little quiet. You start to go into this decode mode. What did the weekend mean? We had such a good time. And you're trying to figure out why you're feeling so anxious, or maybe, what is making you feel disconnected or what's making them feel distant. And the interesting thing is that the connection can feel so real, and it oftentimes is real. And the weekend is so good, but then what's happening, right? You should feel better. You should feel closer because you spent this time together. And a lot of times you end up feeling worse, right? You can't explain why the fight happened or why it feels quiet because you're like, well, the weekend was so good, right? And this honestly is a bit of a familiar pattern. Let's be honest, right? This is not just like a long holiday weekend. That can definitely amplify it, but this is something pretty familiar. You have a good time together. You have a good weekend together. There's a Monday crash out. There's this feeling of distance. Thursdays, like, am I invited to the thing that we're supposed to go to? And he hasn't reached out, or they haven't reached out. And it's kind of like this cycle every week. Now, I do think for a long holiday, it feels really amplified, right? And it is a bit like clockwork. If you look back and you really examine your cycle here with each other, this feels really, really familiar. You kind of, you look at his Instagram or their Instagram, you're like, okay, like, wait, what about the pictures? And am I in the picture? And like, wait, he liked this picture. You try to talk it out with them. And that pattern, no matter how well you communicate it with them, how much stalking you do on the internet, the pattern still kind of stays the same, right? And it's kind of feeling like, why is it so hard? Why is like feeling peaceful hard in this relationship? So this is going to be a great episode if you're feeling any and all of those things. And if you're new here, my name is Claire. I'm a relationship coach, and I love helping high achievers who you are doing really well. Your career is set. You have some letters behind your name, lawyer, MD, Esquire, or maybe you're an entrepreneur or that has a big book of business, or maybe you're a career person and you run a team, you're running the leadership meetings, and you're taking care of all the metrics, right? And while you are good at managing and getting those pieces together in your career, it feels like a hot mess when it comes to your relationship and feeling anxious when they aren't maybe as communicative, even though there is zero reason or zero evidence that they've shown you to doubt them. And I'm really excited because I have totally been there and back. And if this episode is helping, or any other episode, thank you so much for hitting the 5 stars. It takes 2 seconds and it keeps this podcast going and free. So love you for that. And I am really excited to dive into this today. And I was thinking about a client of mine. Just want to give her a shout out. G, we'll call her. And she told me that she kept noticing that her brain wanted to bring stuff up. Like it just had this tenacity, we'll call it, to kind of pick something out and just like French bulldog, chew the heck out of it, right? And it would end up really making her anxious. And when almost like the wording she was explaining to me was like, it's kind of like she craves it, right? Like she didn't want to bring things up, but she couldn't help it, right? Maybe you've experienced that this weekend. You just couldn't help but say the thing that you didn't want to say, or start the little riff there. And what I loved is that she kind of, through our work together one-on-one, she recognized, oh, I'm not broken, because she's not broken, right? Her safety system was just doing exactly the thing that it learned how to do, period, right? That safety system that says, something's wacky or I have to figure it out. And now she's, oh my gosh, feeling so much better, going through an interesting time with her partner. And unironically, because she's been working really hard at it and we've been diving deeper into it, that she is feeling completely different than she was before. She's able to let things go, and her anxiety is drastically down. And one thing that I'm so proud of her is that the work was really into learning how to catch it before it turned into this thing that was going to take down her relationship, before it ran the show. So G, super stinking proud of you. What a change. And I was actually thinking about this because I was realizing as I started recording this that, oh my gosh, it's been 10 years since Craig and I officially met on Memorial Day. Yes, we met 10 freaking years ago. I can't believe it. And I was even thinking about this pattern of bringing things up. And I remembered, oh, okay, well, our wedding anniversary is in June, so that's coming up soon. But our official, like, oh my gosh, of course I'm a girl. I'm like, oh, when we met. So I had this pattern of, okay, I want him to like surprise me, or what is he gonna do? And I noticed I kind of wanted him to basically read my mind, right? And I had this desire for us to do something fun and different for our anniversary. And I recognized I wanted him to make something up. And the reality is, I don't expect him to be a mind reader, because that's not healthy in a relationship. So we had our weekly check-in, and one of the things we discussed was, how can we make our anniversary special for this year? What are we going to do? And it's such a different response that I've learned versus before, when a lot of the dynamic in our relationship that was not working, that was not a good dynamic, was me expecting him to kind of read my mind. And instead, we had a really loving, really honest conversation, and we get to game plan together on what we want to do. And that is actually something that we're exploring inside the Secure Love Lab. These are the type of conversations, the deeper conversations and the deeper patterns that we're doing inside the Secure Love Lab. And I want to start this conversation off with why you spiral, with going a little bit, looking at the loop a little bit more, right? Because this is not random. Take a moment to look at your pattern. Like, what does it look like week in, week out, month in, month out, right? That it is actually, I just know this working with clients, it is painfully predictable. Okay, painfully predictable. And the pattern a lot of times turns out to be this kind of prep for loss, right? Like, you can't relax. You have to prepare, right? It's got to be easy, or I have to be easy in order to be loved. Okay, so there's this pattern of maybe staying quiet, or I'm just going to white knuckle it, not a big deal. It's cool. And just trying to not rock the boat during the weekend, right? Because it's your weekend together. And the irony that I see a lot of times that is such a conflict internally is that you want to be present, right? You know that being present in a relationship is a really big deal. You know that you should be present, but part of you is in your head, in the car, on the way to the picnic, or like really trying to figure out, right, what is going to happen. Or a lot of times there's this crash out internally. Whether you show it or not is a different thing, on the flight home or the drive home. And it's also super interesting because you cannot force yourself into relaxing this safety system, right? You're like, okay, I know I gotta relax. But that's not actually what needs to happen. And it's not how this works. And a lot of times this starts to gear up. Like, I would say it accelerates because maybe you pick the small fight, right? On Sunday, you're like, you didn't grab my hand, or at the picnic, other people were PDA and you didn't do that. And that is, and you have no idea why, right? Because maybe you've even said to yourself, I'm not going to make it a big deal. And this is what I kind of mentioned earlier with like how it's so painfully predictable. And inevitably, those good moments feel unsafe because you're trying to find a way to get on your terms. And what I mean by that is, you're trying to protect yourself, right? If I can just anticipate what's going to happen, anticipate the other shoe dropping or the bottom falling out, like at least it's going to be on my terms. Like they're not going to surprise me with some kind of something they didn't like about me, right? And this is not conscious, right? This is all unconscious, but it's consistent. And the more you are in that pattern of, okay, well, I got to just plan out what's going to happen or what's going to happen when we get back, that actually reinforces that pattern. All right. And most of the times that a good connection, even if you have the best weekend together, have a good connection, it's not going to calm that trigger happy safety system that you have, right? Because I am sure, I would put money on it, that you have a habit of overthinking. You have a habit of going from 0 to 100 for the worst case scenario, what's going to happen. And a lot of times when you are relying on, okay, well, that we're going to have a good time together, that's not going to guarantee that you're going to feel calm, that you're going to feel safe. And then another thing that happens is that we chase that reassurance, right? Because if you are feeling anxious, you're going to want them to tell you, no, I like you. I love you. Of course, everything's good. And instead of sitting in the mystery of falling for each other, it's literally called falling in love, right? Instead of being in that mystery of falling, that unknown part feels really unbearable. And most times relationship anxiety is an inside problem pretending to be a partner problem. I'll just say that's why it feels so confusing, because you are really thinking it's about the connection or something happened over the weekend, when really, I say this with so much love, this is an inside problem. And if you are committed to looking for a problem, I hate to tell you, but you're going to find one. Like, it's like if you go outside and look for a red Honda Civic, you're going to find one, right? I don't know what year it's going to be. I don't know how old it's going to be, but if you are looking for something, you are 100% going to find it. That's just, I can guarantee that. So the piece that I want you to really see here is that trying to create better circumstances, like if I just dress prettier, that's like really shallow, but if I just do a better job, if I'm just the best girlfriend ever, that then you'll finally relax. Like if I do everything right, then there's no way, why would they be upset at me, right? And or if I just say it better, right? If I learn how to communicate better, if I can wordsmith my words, they're going to be happier. Or, okay, maybe I just can get more reassurance. If they just tell me more often that they care about me, they tell me X amount of times a day, or they text me the good morning text or the good night text, I'm going to feel better. Or a better weekend, name whatever better you want to have, but your safety system, your internal safety system, doesn't give a crap about the circumstances, right? All of those are circumstances. If we have a better weekend, we communicate better, or we have more, they give me more reassurance, or we have a better time, or we didn't have the disagreement. That is not going to actually help you feel more safe. Your safety system doesn't respond to circumstances. It responds to how safe you feel on the inside. Safety is an inside job. And this is the exact reason why I made the Secure Love Lab, because every client that I've ever worked with has journaled, has been a bit of a wordsmith, like really knows how to communicate well. Maybe they are even getting that reassurance, but still they're overthinking, right? Every time a client has come to me, and this is not about learning enough, right? This is about practicing how to access what you know inside the trigger. I'll say that again. This is about having the practice to access all the knowledge that you know. I know you've read the books, you've done all the things, but again, it's about what you know in the moment of the trigger. And that is what the Secure Love Lab is all about. It's we build in that process and how to access that for you so that you can see the anxiety is distorting your perception. That's what anxiety tends to do. We're going to learn how to shift the fear and stop the anxious loop that you're in, to learn how to hold on your own and tell anxiety from something actually being wrong in your relationship, because there's these very precise moments where you are thinking, oh my gosh, it's the relationship, or is this my anxiety? And literally, the Secure Love Lab is about how to practice and access what you know in that moment of the trigger. Really excited about it. And most relationship anxiety is an inside problem pretending to be a partner problem. Period, right? A lot of times it is an inside problem masquerading and pretending to be a partner problem. And when this changes, that post great weekend crash stops. The good weekends stay good through Monday, through Tuesday, through Wednesday. And that when that Wednesday distance hits, right, when you feel like, I don't know, things feel a little slow. When you start to change that fear of them being distant, it slows it down before it builds, right? You'll have a daily process that doesn't require you to be motivated or feel like it. It's going to be built inside you. It just works. And that's the work that we're doing inside the Secure Love Lab. And I was thinking about a person, one of the gals that just joined the Secure Love Lab, that she said her brain also craves the anxiety, like it wants it. And the thing that she asked that I thought I could answer here is, why do I do this even when things are going well? And why do I feel the need to bring something up? And there's also like a segment, I would say, of women that come to me, people that come to me, that feel like it's almost like starting a fight, right? You kind of can feel it building inside you, and things are going well, and you have to say the thing. And this is what I would consider a feedback loop, right? Where you have this anxious craving, and if you kind of poke them or prod them, or maybe even have the fight, that you know that there's going to be some kind of makeup, right? It's called makeup intimacy, right? Or makeup fun times. And there's this moment where there's like, yeah, you get back together, or they make you feel better after the fight. And what it does is, yes, it does temporarily satisfy that desire that you have for the reassurance. But again, it's a feedback loop, right? It's only going to build again until the next weekend, the next holiday, the next family outing or whatever, and then rinse and repeat. So this is one of the things that a lot of people stay stuck in for years. Literally, I was talking to the gal that just joined the Secure Love Lab, is that she has been listening to this podcast for years. And the thing that I see gets in so many people's way is trying to do it alone, hoping that this loop changes, right? And I love you. I know that you're not broken. I can know that from the bottom of my heart. But if there is no system to catch the spiral, you're going to keep getting sucked into this, right? And again, the Secure Love Lab, it is something that I'm so proud of. It's a 6-month cohort where you stop researching your way out. You stop consuming and trying to gather all the information, and you start building the ability to tell your anxiety from a real sign that something's actually wrong, right? And the founding pricing for this cohort ends May 31st. So if you've been listening month after month and this is something that you know is a problem, to do the same thing again and again is the definition of anxiety, right? So this is where you decide to do something different, literally. So really excited. Doors close soon for this cohort. And yeah, I know that change is possible for you. And if you want to do that with me, I'd love to have you. Link is in the show notes. I'm sending you love. Mwah.